this show because we talk about awkward things.
We do. Honestly, that's what we figured out because we just finished our 100. The last show was 190, 191, something like that.
Yeah. But that's just in the new batch. That doesn't include the classics. Right?
Right. No. That includes the classics.
It does.
There were two things, but I've numbered them all from one.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When I transferred them over, but I was looking at things like SoundCloud, and I submitted it to something else. I don't know. We know where it's going and stuff like that. But when I look at like the stats on the little speaker system, it's just fascinating. I'm like, hey, a couple of people listened to us in Saudi Arabia last week.
Yeah.
I'm like,
wow, that is surprising.
No.
That is surprising.
So hi out there.
Yeah, I wish I could say hello in Arabic. I don't know how.
No, neither.
Maybe somebody will Facebook message us and tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, speaking of that, okay, so one of my very best friends since high school is a very creative, very fabulous person, but you want to talk about technology impaired, okay? And I'll never forget being on a business trip to New Jersey and getting a hysterical phone call from her. Somehow, she went on her Facebook and accidentally changed the language of her Facebook to, of all things, wait for it, Kurdish.
Okay.
So she's calling me, and I'm on this consulting job, and she was so frantic. I excused myself for a couple minutes. I went out, I got her password, went in, and I managed to restore it. But how does that happen?
I honestly, I always tell my mom that you can't break it, but sometimes I think you can. You know what I mean? but it takes so much work to break it. I don't understand how that mind gets to there. It's just fascinating.
Yeah.
I understand when things have updates and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes something glitches and things screw up, and I get that. But how you could randomly change your language or do some things, I can't even. My brain. Doesn't know how you get there. And I suck at technology. I really do. I know what I need to know and no more. And obviously, the ignorance makes me happy.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm missing out on or what might be better because I just don't know. And I'm quite fine with that.
Yeah. Can I just say that Kurdish script is really cool looking?
It really is.
It's really nifty. And because I couldn't figure out what it was, and then I finally did, and whatever. So yeah, boy, I don't even know how to ease into this one slowly, so I'm just going to go for it. Here's the headline.
Okay.
Woman can't recall how turtle got in her vagina.
I saw this.
Did you?
And I kept looking at it, and I kept looking at it, and it showed up on a couple different websites, And what was fascinating is that I don't think any of them did it right. If you don't know how it got there, it probably meant you were drugged and assaulted.
And she's not ruling that. The victim is saying it's possible.
But some of the sites are treating it like it's just ha, 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 ha. No.
Yeah.
There is nothing ha, ha, ha about this at all.
No.
But I'm just like...
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there's a couple other aspects to this that are interesting, Colleen. First of all, it's a Chinese pond turtle, very typically found in a pet store there. And
this is in Tenerife, right?
Yep. But the thing that's interesting is the hospital had to launch an investigation because the photos of the reptile started circulating on the internet. So that means somebody... I don't know what the laws are, but I'm pretty sure that most places have you don't get to share your medical stuff from the ER. Yeah. Yeah. And so, but she doesn't remember anything. So she said, it's possible.
Because that's a pretty party place, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's pretty much why it exists. I'm sure that at one point there were probably quaint fishing villages and a whole bunch of stuff. Now I'm pretty sure it's one bar after another.
Yes. Yes. Do you have a favorite architectural style if you had to pick one?
I like a lot of different things, but I have to admit I'm rather fond of big sort of Georgian and Victorian brick and stone buildings.
Okay.
I don't think I'd actually want to maintain any of them, but I think they're fascinating to look at. Yeah. And I would love to decorate a mid-century house. I don't want to live in it. I just want to decorate it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Well, so, like when you think about some of the styles, there's like, you've got Art Deco, you've got Beaux Arts, you've got, all of this other kind of stuff. Well, in China, there's a new category, and it's called penis. There's a new building in Gangxi. It's the new media center there, and it looks like a penis and testicles. But the best...
Well, the Florida, the state of Florida is in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Their capital is a very large tower with a dome on either side. I went down to visit a friend who was going to grad school down there, and we just went for a drive, and he knows how to get there so that you turn a corner, and then suddenly there was the Great Phallus of Florida.
Sweet. So the Tallahassee Tallywhacker?
Yeah.
Is that what
correct.
that is?
Yes.
Okay,
but
perfect.
it is hilarious.
Oh, my God. Well, this, by the way, in Gangxi is right along the border of Vietnam. Okay. So that, just to give you kind of perspective, because China is huge.
Yeah.
But this is a really big building, and so people were kind of looking at it. Well, then a video started circulating online with a fireworks display looking like it's coming out of the top of the tower.
Oh.
And yes, to mimic the happy ending.
I mean, I've talked about this a lot. My favorite art is the human body.
Yeah.
Okay. My kid, who's, by the way, filling out college applications over here, so what the hell? She's almost 18, so this is a deal. Knows that my house is filled with bodies. In fact, in the bathroom downstairs,
she's seen them.
Yes, there are naked men paintings because I figure, if I'm going to have naked women in the house, there should be naked men.
I think that's fair.
Okay, but I'm not sure that I want my building to look like a body part.
No,
I'm okay. Art, textiles, different things, fine, painting, sculpture. Hell, and technically I sell usable sculpture. But I'm not sure that I want, I don't want a vulva-shaped building. I don't want a penis-shaped building. Mm-hmm. No, that's fine.
I don't think I would either. I think that there's other shapes that we could work with that would be fine. Have you ever been to Yellowstone?
Yes, it is really nice for a day or so, and then suddenly it's just a lot of hot holes in the ground.
Well, alrighty then.
I know. You're just like, okay, it's another pool. Or, we did see, we saw the Old Faithful, and we saw some other guys just walking around, and we pulled over, and oh wow, there's a buffalo. Oh look, there's an asinine tourist getting too close to the buffalo. It is nice. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is really nice. But after a while, it's a lot of hot holes in the ground.
Okay, so while I was on my honeymoon,
okay.
Did you see that news story of the guy taunting the buffalo? I think it was there. It was in one of our national parks that has buffalo.
Okay.
He got in big trouble, as he should. Okay. Yeah. Check this one out, though. Tourist arrested for urinating on Old Faithful.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Really?
There's like a gate. You have to work really hard to do that.
Did.
There's a whole circle around it and a sidewalk and some benches. And you have to we got there like 6 o'clock in the morning because I wanted to see it without a crap. Believe me, the child was not thrilled about this. But
I'm getting a definite no over there. She's like,
but I didn't want to see it with 2,000 of my closest friends.
Yeah.
But the idea of going and urinating, there's people throw coins into some of them and screw it up. They've actually one of the springs there, they've thrown so many coins into it, it no longer they plugged it up.
That's so stupid.
It's
wrong with people.
Public doesn't mean destroy it, and public means it's for everyone, and you should share, keep it nice for the next person that wanders next to you.
Yes, like my mother used to describe our kitchen, keep it nice for the next guy. Yeah, no, so this guy is, and he might be able to, in a drunken beer evening with his buddies, they all might find that really funny, because I know that guys like to tell pee stories and have contests and all that kind of stuff. But seriously, he is charged with a bunch of stuff, including going off trail in a thermal area. But
honestly, he could have injured himself greatly.
A lot of people thought he was going to jump, that he was going to try to jump or whatever. But he got in big trouble. Every once in a while, not unlike Reddit.
Reddit, yes.
Reddit. God, I don't know where my mind just dropped out for a minute there.
You were confused by my incredibly red shirt.
That too. Well, you were confused by my face earlier today.
Oh, that is hilarious. So we stop to get breakfast, and I turn around to go sit with my kid, and my kid's not there, but you are.
I know.
And it was completely out of context.
The
and I'm
look
like,
on your
and
face.
I'm like, click. There was no coffee yet in me, nothing. And I'm just like, click, 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 click. Kelly! Okay.
That's me, Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly. Yes.
God, it was hilarious.
That was so funny. The look on your face.
I'm like, huh?
What are you doing here? I'm not supposed to. It's not 1:00.
Yeah, it was just totally out. Yeah, when I see folks out of context, it is so weird.
Yeah, it is. It was funny. But you know how we always joke about the, going down the Reddit rabbit hole and whatever. There's another site that has some pretty good stuff in. It's a British one. It's for mothers. It's called Mumsnet.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a discussion forum. And they have some, I love the funny kid stories. I'm sorry, but kids are like one of the funniest things on earth, really, and most of the time. But this one was on the Am I Being Unreasonable forum. So how can you not go in there?
I would click on that so fast.
Yeah. So this story, there's a funny side to it, but then there's a couple other really interesting aspects. So I can't wait to hear your take. So she was out to dinner with her husband, and she has one of the bigger cell phones, like probably one of the huge iPhones or something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them out there. And she was thinking of they were at dinner, and the server, a female, said something about the size of her phone. She goes, yeah, I know. I'm thinking about trading it for a smaller one. And her husband said, well, she's used to having big things in her hand. And then the server seemed embarrassed and moved on. And the mother, the wife, was mortified, she says. And she says, I'm an introvert. I'm private. This was too much. I said it wasn't appropriate. He said, quit. It was just a joke, blah, blah, blah.
Well, the context here is it's someone you don't know.
Right.
If you're with your really good friends, I mean, when I am with my friends or something like that, and something pops up like that, speaking of pops up, I mean, you can in fact go for it. Mm-hmm. But a server that you don't know or this or that, know your surroundings, dude. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, that's such a guy thing. But yeah, I felt...
I'm just as inappropriate that way, but with the right folks.
And I just felt bad for the server, because, that's not what she's there to do, put up with. This, I'm surprised we haven't heard this one before. Okay. This is Ohio, and it was near Cleveland.
Okay.
Or actually, Cleveland, Cincinnati area. The coroner, county engineers, and everybody were called to the scene to deal with a body that was, in fact, a sex doll in a trash bag.
Oh, I'm actually surprised this doesn't happen more.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Just going through there. But that is not, you're terrifying the person that goes there. They know what's going through there. You're wasting time of what's going through there.
Right, all those officials.
But then again, I have to admit, if you have a fairly realistic sex doll and you're done with the fairly realistic sex doll, it can't be the easiest thing to throw away.
Right.
Do
you get a Bagster for that?
I don't, just going through there. That's got to be...
Okay, like...
just your regular sex toy, going through the airport or throwing in the garbage and stuff like that. Because I've looked into, will Hennepin County recycle them, do all this sort of stuff?
Oh,
and
really?
I can't...
What'd you find out?
They just don't really know what to do with them.
Okay.
I tried. I don't,
Because you know what, that would be information I could just see you having in your stores, like on a fact sheet.
I tried, yeah.
Oh my God.
I tried. I called Hennepin County
That's
and
smart.
I said, "Here's the deal." The person was perfectly reasonable on the phone. They said, because a lot of the stuff has parts in it and silicone stuff like that. You're like, what am I supposed to do with this part?
Probably.
Electronics part, this or that.
Did they?
They didn't really have an idea. They're like, they're just because. They've been used bodily, so there's,
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
So it's not
what
really...
do they call it? Biohazard aspect?
Yeah. So it's not like there's any place set up for the recycling of personal toys.
Well, so my trash company that my city contracts with you got your recycling, you got your regular trash bin, and then you have the option of having a third bin that's called like yard waste. Just wait. There's pretty soon going to be,
that could be it. Yeah.
But
we've got the 3 because you certainly can't compost. I've got the compost. No.
Okay.
And then the yard waste is separate. You have in Minneapolis, you got to put it out in the brown paper bags. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it flops over. I mean, you shove a doll into a garbage bin. Oh, yeah.
Well, on that same note, there's a related story.
Okay.
This somebody started was trying to throw away a bunch of used toys, and they were in the trash. What do you call yours? I call it the cart thing.
Bin cart, yeah.
Cart, yeah, with the wheels that you wheel out to the curb. This particular town had a horrible, horrible windstorm. And the winds were like 100-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, it was like a crazy thing. And everybody's trash blew over. And this lady's sex toys were all over the middle of the street that she had just thrown away. So, I mean, there was vibrator, empty lubes.
Someone's getting a new relationship.
Yeah.
It's time to get the new toys.
Exactly.
Because generally, you should not be sharing these things.
So this neighbor takes a picture of it. And 650 shares, 425 likes she got on Facebook. And she said, obviously she's too embarrassed to come and get it because it's still out there. Mm-hmm. But here's the deal. If it's in front of your house.
Okay, neighbors, prejudice there. If any of you guys, it won't embarrass me. If my neighbors, if we have, because I don't have an alley on my street. So the bins do go out on the sidewalk.
Okay.
So if there is stuff strewn, it's not going to be hidden in an alley.
No.
It will not embarrass me.
You will come to the rescue?
I can do that. Because, I think, we have a whole bunch of new neighbors now, so I don't know how many people know what I do for a living, but a fair amount do. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it would not be embarrassing. So if you live on my block and this happens, y'all look out.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Good to know.
I got your back. I'll take care of this.
That's very, very magnanimous of you. Mm-hmm. This is a really interesting idea. I think this is something that you should consider. Okay. So, Love Honey,
it's a UK company. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. They are selling for equates to $165 US. It's a kinky Christmas calendar, but what it is every day has something associated with it. So you're getting like the lube and the things or whatever for every day of the holiday.
We have tried over and over gift baskets, subscription stuff, different things.
Yep.
But everybody wants what they want. So they'll say, this is nice, but do you have a silicone lube? This is nice, but does it come in cinnamon? Do you have this one in pink?
Yep.
I mean, people want what they want.
Yeah.
The only time when you get it for free to raffle, then they don't care. But if you are paying anything for anything, people want exactly what they want, nothing more, nothing less. Mm-hmm. And it's just, so you just, especially with the land of the internet out there, you can choose exactly what you want now. This is why I no longer sell like high-end leather items, because people can go and get custom-made stuff that's exactly what they want. Mm-hmm. There's no more compromising. Mm-hmm. Which is fine, because Minnesota's not the hugest place in the world, so it's not like I could carry every leather, high-end leather catsuit, because I just can't.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Although they were fun to buy at the time, and I'm just going through the catalogs. I'm like, ooh.
Pretty neat.
Not my thing, but I'm like, some of it, ooh. But it's just fun to look, to look.
It's got to be a really interesting, Tara has such an interesting job because it's a moving target with, with things. And it's like, she's got to have a real special kind of talent, I would think. Yeah,
because we're looking at, when something new comes in, she's like, well, do we already have something like it? Is this better? Does it cost less? What's the reputation of the company? Mm-hmm. How have similar things sold? It's just going through there. And if I walk in and something looks familiar to me, then we know it's been around for a while, because I haven't done the buying in 20 years. Mm-hmm. So we get catalogs every now and then. And the other day, I don't remember the name of the company, but I flipped through. Mm-hmm. It had to be half an inch thick, right?
Wow.
I marked 4 things in the entire catalog.
And that takes a lot of time, I bet.
That I thought that Tara should maybe look at. And I put little notes on it. And I said, this is interesting, or, that was hundreds and hundreds of items. There were 4 of them that caught my eye.
Right.
That tells you how many damn personal toys, sex toys that I've looked at in almost 30 some years now.
Yeah.
Because we're coming up to 30 years in March that I will have been doing this.
Really? Mm-hmm. And the company is
almost 40 years old.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. So this story caught my eye. I'm not gonna lie. I just got married recently, and everybody was like, I did not do a traditional thing, and he wore jeans. It was very casual, and I'll show you a picture. Actually, I finally brought a picture.
Right, pictures, yeah.
And I had 2 different dresses that I just couldn't make up my mind, and I wore cowboy boots, and so it was very, whatever. But I didn't know, and people were just like, seriously, you don't know what you're wearing? And I'm like, just leave me alone, whatever. Well, this couple. They are from, where are they from? Well, they're Romanian. That's right. Okay. Near Bucharest, I guess. One is a dentist. The wife is a dentist, and the husband is a software developer. So these are professional folks. They got married butt naked. She did have a veil, and he had a bow tie on a beach in Sardinia. And they met.
Is this one of those things where did they have permission, or was this stealth?
That part doesn't say. Okay. The story more focuses on how it wasn't a legal ceremony. They're going to do a legal ceremony with clothes where their parents and everybody can come. But he was a naturalist. She met him. He got her into it. And this was how they wanted to express it, which, again, I got a lot of, I had to really push back a lot on my wedding because we didn't let anybody come. And my sister was not happy about that.
Yeah.
Down to the last minute. And I'm just glad that they did, what they wanted to. I think that's really important, and getting away from the bridezilla thing.
Yeah, I had friends that, second marriage for one, and they went like halfway around the world and got married on a boat.
Yeah.
Other folks have gone here, and then they come back and they'll have a party or do something. But when I flip through, I have a morning ritual where before I get out of bed, or, after I pee and then get back into bed, then I go through all the advice columns. And the amount of bridezilla questions, or, who should walk me down the aisle? This person shouldn't come. I want to elope, or I don't want to elope. I don't think you know what the word elope means. It's just trying to make everybody happy. And I just think, you want to make it it's about the next umpteen years of your life, not that day. And so folks are just going to have to learn to deal. But I get that folks want to be there, but I also get that it's not like you're getting married and disappearing and never seeing anyone again.
Yeah. I know. It's just so funny. I have a picture, and when I show you the pictures when we're after the show today, I took one picture when I was getting my hair and makeup done, and I had all these ginormous curlers in my hair. It was and I took a silly selfie and sent it to my sister and my friend, and my sister wrote back and said, "You look terrified. See, don't you wish I was there?" And I told my husband when I got back to the hotel, I'm like, no, she would have made me more stressed out. I did not want other, crazy energy around me, fussing and, that would have made me, absolutely crazy.
Both my brother and sister had pretty big weddings.
Did they?
And stuff like that. With the live band and the whole deal, and it's Italian, and more food than you would get at 8 weddings.
Yeah, I bet.
Honestly, the food that was just as the appetizers before you went to Sunday is more food than I've seen at most weddings.
Yeah.
And then they would sit down and go, wait a minute, dinner's coming now. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I almost killed myself at my sister's wedding because we got everything done and I'm the matter and I go up to get a drink and I didn't watch them make the drink.
Okay.
And so I just got like a gin and tonic or something like that. And I swear there was like no tonic in it. So I grab it. And it just goes burning because I'm probably dehydrated from running around and doing everything anyway. And then this is the first. It was the only. I couldn't finish it. I couldn't have a drink the rest of the night. I almost killed myself with this gin.
You almost alcohol poisoned yourself.
It was hilarious, but I was like, oh. But actually, it was probably good because at that point I was completely clear the rest of the evening, and there was dancing and food, and my great aunt Rose sat in the corner with a little bag of envelopes because that's what the eldest Italian woman does.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that is a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was really, really nice. Really, really nice.
What year did your sister get married?
Oh God, 23 years ago, whatever that is. 20.
So
yeah,
95.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right, does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I for the life of me, I
Were
cannot.
the dresses really big?
It wasn't too bad.
Okay.
She didn't. Yeah, I mean, she was a natural waist. She had a lace on the bot over the satin, and then a nice simple top. I mean, it's really real. It wasn't too big yet. I mean, some of the late 80s, early 90s dresses had were pretty poofy. Oh, okay. So completely opposite. There's like 2 wedding shops near me at the 50th and France area.
Yeah.
They have the laciest things out right now.
Are they cool?
Oh my God. It's not something that I've ever really thought about, but oh my God, they're lacy and they're sparkly, and I'm just like, oh my God, the Italian in me is like, ooh, sparkle's pretty. And they're all hung up. I am 5'3".
Yeah.
These dresses would be like a foot or more long on me. They would never just. I don't understand that part. Okay, but
you know what I don't understand, and then I have a question for you. Okay. What I don't understand about the whole wedding dress and bridesmaid dress thing is, why do they have to be ripped apart and rebuilt when you buy them, when other clothes don't? What the hell?
I have no idea. I mean, it's
I
just
don't
because
get
it's like women are getting married later, which means they have adult bodies, not teen bodies. Yet the sample dresses all seem to be made for teens, and I don't know who the sample. Oh, it's
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that you order it custom, then it comes in, and then it has to be altered. It's like, really? I mean, it's just.
Well, I'm so short. Everything's had to be altered anyway on me. I'm almost my entire life.
It's just a blooming racket. It's a total racket. So okay, we've never ever talked about this, and I know, you guys are in the middle of college applications and everything else right now, but have you ever thought as a parent, like what will happen if your daughter chooses to do a wedding, and how you're going to feel about that, and what your approach is going to be?
I'll first of all offer to just pay for the elopement and the honeymoon.
Try to buy her off, right? Start there.
And say, would you rather have the money for something else?
Yep. Okay.
If not, then we're going to have one hell of an effing party.
Okay.
Because I am my father's daughter.
Okay.
And I am half Italian, and there is no doing anything half-assed.
Okay.
Yeah. No one will pay for booze. Mm-hmm. There will be food coming out of your ears, and the band will play the entire night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we've never talked about that because you yourself have chosen not to get married.
Correct.
Even though, you have your partnership and all that kind of stuff, but it's just funny.
I saved my parents a fortune by not getting married.
So what did you negotiate in exchange for that? I'm just curious.
No. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I just had to know.
There's our tangent for the day. We'll just wander off to weddings. But,
this actually, this story just grabbed me, and you're an avid reader yourself, though you kind of lean towards the history stuff. So Lady Chatterley's lover, okay, which was thought to be my God. Yeah.
Totally risque.
Oh.
Banned and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was eons ago that I read it, and I was trying to get into the mindset of when it was done. Mm-hmm. I mean, when it was written, you could do that with anything, but it's like, seriously? I mean, I couldn't get my brain to be that close-minded, that ignorant.
Prude.
Yeah, that ignorant about stuff, or that prude. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. Penguin Books is the original publisher, and they were prosecuted in 1960, if you don't know the backstory on this, for publishing D.H. Lawrence's book. And it was about an affair between a wealthy woman and her husband's gamekeeper. And it was the jury deliberated 3 hours, not guilty. And it was thought to be part of a turning point, which really need to happen. Can you imagine what those people would think of the stuff that that's out there now?
50 Shades, for fuck's sake. My God.
I know.
I mean, at least Lady Charlotte was written well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mind a little smut in something I'm reading or going through their circle stuff, but it just, as long as it's as long as it's well written, I'm okay with it. If it's a piece of crap.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, there was a time when Audible and stuff like that, I still see them advertised. They've got a whole bunch of free books, and most of it is just free smut. Free, poorly written. There's a word I haven't used in a while, but just free. I'll call it that because it's not well written. Just crap.
Well, the actual point of the story, because this
that's right.
No, but the social part of it was so relevant. The copy that the judge used to review for the trial is going up for auction by Sotheby's. And they're expecting in the neighborhood of $20,000 for that copy.
I wonder who would buy that. I would love to know. I mean, the
it's a symbol, of sorts.
That's intriguing.
Yeah,
I
thought this was a really cool story.
I don't do nearly as much. Oh, okay. I've also. Nearly as much reading as I used to because I've just been menopause makes you exhausted and middle age and stuff like that.
And your daughter off to college. I mean, you've had a little to work on.
So I can't. So, I don't read as much because I'm no longer capable of, occasionally if something's really good, you stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning because you can't stop reading something. I will fall asleep and the book just sort of falls. I fall asleep while reading now. That never happened, before. But now reading a book on the women who broke codes in World War II, and reading a Isabel Allende book called The Japanese Lover, which is sort of World War II sort of themed right now. It's just some short stories by Alice Munro, Pulitzer Prize or Nobel Prize. Something prize winner.
Cool.
There are books stacked all over my house.
Did you ever read years ago that book called Memoirs of a Geisha?
I think I may have.
I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, I was going
really
through. Yeah, I
interesting
think.
book.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I'm sure if I dug around in the probably a couple thousand books I have downstairs. Actually, no, maybe not a couple thousand, but near 1,000 downstairs.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I might find it.
Guess what it's time for today?
Naked in Florida?
No.
Oh.
What else comes up every single week now? Come on.
Things that someone puts in their butt that they shouldn't.
No. Sex robots.
Sex robots. Oh. Well, we got Naked in Florida, things you put in your butt, and sex robots.
Okay, yeah. But those were good, Colleen. Good guesses.
Sex
Very good.
robots.
We need a little
a
sound effect. I'll look for something.
Look for we need things in your butt sounder.
Okay.
We need naked. Someone was drunk and naked, did
in
something
Florida.
stupid naked, and it can be just drunk and naked somewhere.
Okay.
Some Florida. Maybe an extra something for Florida, and then the sex robot noise.
Perfect. I will get on that as soon as I can. So this is kind of funny because we talked about Spain. There's kind of this one company.
Oh, the brothel. Yeah.
And they're having trouble with locations. Which, if anybody knows about that, it would be you because you've had your
still. It's 2018, and I bet you anything right now I would have dozens of no's before I got a yes if I was looking for a space.
Yeah. Yep. So this one, there's a sex robot brothel that is trying to set up shop in Houston, Texas. So this...
well, it's something for men, so it'll probably do fine. They got titty bars in every corner there. They finally, I think, can sell sex toys down there. But for years, you couldn't sell a sex toy, but there was a boob bar in every corner.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So since it's something for guys, I'm sure it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Proper women's health? Oh, hell no. Stick your dick in a rubber doll? Sure.
Well, the mayor of Houston, and I've never visited, I've been to Texas, different parts of it, San Antonio and Dallas mostly. Never been to Houston. But the mayor of Houston is Sylvester Turner, and he is trying to block them from coming in. And so there's this whole big, huge battle back and forth, the sex robot battle, they're calling it locally. And he says, this is not the sort of business that we advertise for or seek to attract, or quite frankly, from my point of view, the sort of business that I want in the city of Houston.
But someone else does. So, and it's not your job to be the moral police. And they're going to have to deal with things called secondary effects. And there's not going to be any secondary effects. And so they're not going to be able to regulate the items.
Yeah. Well, there's a petition by concerned citizens.
Oh, pearl clutching?
Yes. That 9,000 signatures laying out the underlying issues they are naming as they will ultimately harm men, their understanding of healthy sexuality, and increase the demand for prostitution and exploitation of real women and children, and health risks.
No, it's a safe place to masturbate.
Yep. They're also going to try to update local ordinances to make sure the business isn't located near schools, daycares, or faith-based institutions.
Yeah,
what does that have to do with daycare, though?
Same thing, children.
No,
Schools.
I know, but I mean, yeah, I suppose. But
it's going through. Yeah, I mean, almost every place has rules. Rules for that.
yeah.
It's going through there.
Even titty bars?
Yeah. What?
Titty bar?
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's why most of these places are out on interstates and old and stuff like that.
Yep. You and I are actually a little underqualified for this particular topic.
No,
because it's
dicks?
No, it's breast pumping.
Oh, okay.
Because neither of us have actually birthed children, but or breastfed. But their breast pumps, and this actually makes sense. This company called LV makes breast pumps, and they've got some really new innovations. Which and one of the comments from the corporate area of the company, because they came up with a very controversial ad. I'll describe it to you in a moment. They're saying, look at everything that phones have done in the last 10 and 15 years, and breast pumps haven't changed in well over 30. And so they wanted to do something special.
But then again, I mean, you're getting the milk out of the breast by sucking motion. I mean, there's not really too much that has to change.
Well, this is a wearable, and it's small, and it's got better, it's just better. What hasn't improved, right? Yeah. Well, never mind.
Yeah.
They'll stuck go there.
Yeah, okay, let's just put that there.
The second I said that, I went, oh my God.
Let's just put that there.
Okay, yes, I will. I will. Okay, but here's the commercial. And they're getting big mixed reviews to this. And they chose this concept because of breastfeeding women saying that they feel like cows. So there's this group of women, 4 women, writhing around in a hay-scattered barn. There's cattle in the background, and they're singing, "I'm a pumper, I'm a feeder, but I'm a human female. Yes, I milk myself, but you don't see no tail. In case you hadn't noticed, these are not my udders, they're my boobs." And I guess it's pretty funny. And then, whatever. So some people think it's hilarious, and other people are just pissed. And the company said, you know what, we're trying to be kind of funny. And they're just like,
and it's nothing that women haven't said, that they just, at one point you almost you stop feeling like a human and you're just this milk machine.
Yeah.
And it's going through
and
there.
They're playing to that part of it that they're frustrated. And then they're trying to say, hey, we can make it easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, you can't. If people would just realize, they would come out and say, I can't make everyone happy. I mean, I told you about that really weird Google review I got last week that just made no sense whatsoever. I'm like, okay, then.
Yeah.
It was vague. It was idiotic. And I didn't know what. And I'm like, I can't do anything with something like that. And the same thing here. You just can't, that's nice. Let's move on.
Well, and it's kind of funny too. The director of the commercial is just like the people and the dancers and the singers and the thing. They're all new moms. And so they were all like on board, like, oh, heck yeah, I get that, whatever. So anyway, but people get pissy and they have to make a big hoo-ha. Okay. This is an interesting story because it brings up a whole bunch of stuff. So Stuart, Florida. It's naked in Florida. I forgot that I had a naked in Florida story for you. It's not our usual falling through the roof of a pizza joint with your junk hanging out and whatever type of thing. This is a guy who likes to do his lawn, his yard work on his car completely in the nude. And people say he's constantly walking around his property naked. They call the police. Deputies say there's nothing they can do because he's on his own property, but people can see him.
How much you want to bet if it was a woman walking around that they would do something about it?
I wonder. That's a good question.
It's quite good because they do tend to police women's bodies more than men's. And if people, I mean, he is on his own property. I don't know what the rules are. They probably obviously don't have an ordinance that says that you need even on your own property, stuff like that. But people have got to get over the fact that nudity is a problem. Bodies are not obscene. Bodies are not. Our bodies are not gross.
Yeah.
And I think we would have a hell of a lot less issues on this entire planet if we were a lot less concerned about what other people were doing with their bodies.
Yes. I guess, and they're trying to work out a compromise with them because the school bus stop is close by and certain parents just don't want their kids to see it. But yeah, it's an interesting little quandary there. And they declined to be interviewed. They're like, hey, we're private people. And then one of the neighbors said, well, then why are your privates always out? Like, understood it. Okay. Do you remember Mary Kay Letourneau?
Was she the one that screwed her students?
12-year-old at the time. She was 32.
Yeah, that's completely horrific.
Okay. So she's done an interview again. And she's working as a paralegal. She said she told an Australian TV station that when she had sex with 12-year-old Vili Fulau, she had no idea it was a crime. And she tried to say she's trying to get her name removed from the sex offender register.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
Right. And she's
a lot of people don't think that the opposite is true. I mean, they just, that if you're a boy, no matter what age you are, if you have sex, it's like, woohoo, it's celebrated. Not really, by the way, that's also wrong. That kid is
for sure. Yeah. I mean, anyway, they got married, as you know, after he filed for separation, but then rescinded it. Later. So I guess they're still married, but she's going on this whole push saying, well, if somebody would have told me, if I would have known it was wrong, I wouldn't have done it because anybody that knows my personality, and I'm thinking, you're a predator.
Yeah, that shows that maybe she's not
the
psychologically sound.
Well, yeah. Indeed. Okay, so I believe you don't watch The Handmaid's Tale?
No, I read the book. That was enough. I do not need to be traumatized.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And the show's really good, though. The actors are...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know the book was... And there's also that, too. There's been one movie in my entire life made from a book that I think that they chose the right... You have to cut out a lot from most things to make a movie.
You do.
And I think The Hunt for Red October, which I think was made in the late 80s, early 90s, or something like that, it was a great book. And I think they did a good movie from it without keeping all the parts, without like going, wait a minute, just leaving gaping holes by leaving shit out.
Right.
And I've yet to see another book that I felt that a movie that, from a book that I thought it was like, they're missing that. What the,
The one that I thought was one of the best of all time book to movie translations was Silence of the Lambs.
That's a horror movie. I'm not going anywhere near that.
It was amazing. They did a great job too, and the actors and the cast, whatever. Well, long story short, an online clothing company removed its Yandy Brave Red Maiden costume. So it's a handmade costume that was short.
Yeah, sexy hand. No.
Ew.
No, that is the most horrible.
$64.95. And
yeah, because we're coming up. There's gonna be probably several completely inappropriate Halloween costumes. I've said this before. I no longer can compete with like the pop-up party stores for the costumes, even though I sold the same costumes for $10 to $20 less. Just that when you're doing one-stop shopping for your kids and you, it just it's too convenient, and I can't And no matter how much I tried to say, hey, it's our less expensive, it just didn't work. But I never understood how, like, sexy pizza was a thing or something. Why does every female costume has to be sexy? I mean, a lot of the guy costumes you sold were also, I mean, for us, yeah, you come there, but if you're going someplace else, you should be able to, I don't know. I sell the things and it confuses me, but I mean, but it works in the context of fantasy gifts. And a lot of them are used for fantasy and role play and stuff like that throughout the year anyway. And I still sell them, the main ones that do that. I mean, you're never not going to have I mean, maybe, but it's not anytime soon. Sexy nurse or a sexy maid, still people still have their things, or the tuxedo thongs for guys, or a few other things, a couple or a cop costume or something like that. Some of this stuff. Either way, they just continue to say, oh wow, oh god, this is okay. So I'm watching speaking of lingerie, I'm watching Will and Grace, the season 2, and the character of Jack comes tearing out of the elevator in this rainbow chevron striped tank top. We sell that.
That's hilarious. As seen on TV.
As seen, it was hilarious. Oh, that show cracks me up.
Is it good? I haven't seen the new one.
Oh, it's spectacular.
Really cool. It's the same actors, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I think she's fun.
I mean, obviously all the characters are spectacular, but they really, really had a good, the actor, Sean Hayes, who plays Jack, really some of the scenes he was outstanding in his physical comedy. It was hilarious.
Super. Okay, I'll check it out. I haven't seen it, the new version. Our last story today is again, surprisingly, something we have not run across yet. This one hails from Arizona, and a very strange way to manage to become a sex offender, but this guy found a way.
God. Okay.
He duped female caregivers into believing he had mental issues that required him to wear a diaper. And he's just one of the, what do you call him? That you were next to him at Pride.
Oh, he's an adult baby fetish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so one caregiver gave an interview and said she was hired to care for a guy who had Down syndrome, and she was supposed to bathe and change his diaper. And her quote is, he acted like a child. His demeanor was childlike, so he would have tantrums. He would act like one. But then everything started unraveling after he asked one caregiver to get in the shower with him. And she said every time I went to change his diaper, he was aroused. So now, he's on trial, and police got involved. But
the adult baby thing is, for the most part, is not a sexual thing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's just folks that like to be cared for. I think it is a lot. It really did not seem to have a very large sexual component to it. It had more to do with the being taken care of, not having to make decisions, sort of an escape. Not really a not really a sexual component. From what I could see from the guys.
Yeah,
and. But I'm sure but then again, every group has the folks that will exploit whatever loopholes there are to that particularly lifestyle.
Yeah.
And those are the folks that ruin it for the folks that like things. Whether you're a furry or a plushie, or you're into bondage, or whether you're into adult baby, there's going to be the folks that use it to manipulate. And then therein lies the problem.
Okay. Do you remember last year when I came running in here for the show one day, and I had been at Walmart, and I showed you the picture of the furry heads at Walmart?
Yeah.
They've got them out again. And, I just wanted light bulbs, and I needed paper towels, and I'm like, I did not need to see this. Like,
I'm really quite surprised that, obviously Halloween is, I think we almost spend more money on Halloween than almost any other holiday at this point in the U.S. We're really, really close.
Really?
Yeah.
To Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Because it is insane how much money gets spent on Halloween. But because almost everyone takes part in Halloween, not everybody takes part in Christmas.
Yeah.
It's going through there.
Yeah.
And, but it's just, but you look at stuff and you're wondering if anyone at Walmart knows the backstory on some of the stuff they
right.
sell.
It's right there. I mean, like right when you walk in the door, and I'm like,
Yeah.
the furry thing. If you're into it, knock yourself out.
I've always been sort of just fascinated with the fact. I said there is no way that any of these folks. I know folks that are naturally hot that wear like shorts all the time. Never wear. I never wear like a wool sweater or anything like that. I can't handle it. It's too warm. I mean, even if it was interesting to me, I don't think I could do it because I think it would be too hot.
Putting that thing on your head,
Or even the whole body, the full. I mean,
okay.
I mean, so I'm thinking. I wonder if there's like any studies that these folks run unnaturally cold all the time.
They're probably freeze babies.
Yeah, they're freeze
and
babies.
They become fur babies.
Become fur babies. Yes.
Okay, you know what? I need to go get a fan. I'm out of here.